Hi, my name is Sophia Lookinville. But for the first question, experience in your life that has prepared you for nurse, for a diverse population of patients. I would say there's two defining characteristics in my life. One that's made me decide I wanted to be a nurse, and then one that I feel has prepared me for a diverse group of people. The first being my mother. She a lot of the time when I was growing up had cysts in her ovaries or in her uterus, and that has resulted in her having to get a partial hysterectomy where her uterus was removed, ovaries were kept. In the summer, going into my first year of college, I had to take my mom to the emergency room. And that day it was very busy. We were waiting in the ER for 2 or 3 hours in the waiting room. She finally get back, and I could see that mentally it was taking a toll on her. And there was a moment where my dad was trying to get a blanket on her, and my mom was like, "I don't want the blanket." She like snapped at him, and a nurse rolled her eyes at my mother. And I remember that moment feeling kind of upset because, as a nurse, your job is to understand that you are there for people on the worst days of their life. And, you have to be able to understand that. And I knew that that is something that I'm able to do and that this would be the career for me. So pretty much the next day, I think I switched my major to pre-nursing. And then the other situation, I was a swim coach for young students, and I was one of the few swim teachers that was, I think, one or two of us were allowed to teach private lessons for kids with special needs. And my first private lesson was with a student named Bavish, and he had severe autism. He was non-vocal. A lot of times his only form of communication was like grunting, and it was a learning curve in figuring out how do I communicate with him. And I was his teacher for 4 months, I think, and it was a lot of physical hand gestures and getting him to understand through that way. And I feel that that has made me realize that even though I may differ from somebody, I can still figure out a way to properly communicate with them. And in my job as a nurse, it's my responsibility to find that way. And I feel like that has really prepared me. With why did I choose the Texas State nursing program, I feel a lot of your values really ally with my own. The honesty, integrity, and compassion that is listed in your values has been a foundation of my character for as long as I can remember. I mean, I remember being a little girl and my aunt was crying about something, I don't know, like family drama or whatever. And I remember coming up to her and telling her I love her and giving her a piece of cheese and like taking care of her. And because I acted like that my entire childhood, my family has always been like, you're going to work in healthcare. You're going to be a doctor or a nurse, or you're going to do this. You're going to take care of people, because that has just been who I am for so long. And because you guys also preach public service and advocacy, I feel like that your program really matches with my foundations and that it would be a perfect fit. And then my personal strengths and experiences. A few of my personal strengths is commitment, and a big one is my grit. I have been told my entire life, nothing will come to you easy. It takes work, and I have put in so much work these past 2 years alone in college, mainly because in high school everything kind of came easy to me, and then I got to university, and I was like, oh, education, not that easy. And so I had to learn a lot about how to be a good student and get good grades. And my grit is just a huge thing to me. And I feel like that really aligns with not only nursing school, but being a nurse, being able to push through your day and focus on the end goal, which is making sure your patients are healthy. I'm also a learning assistant. I've been a learning assistant for 2 semesters, and a big part about being a learning assistant is student advocacy. And then, like one of your values, patient advocacy, or just advocacy in general, I feel like being a student advocate and telling professors, I don't think students will understand this. I feel like this would be better for the students. I've noticed that some of my students have struggled with this, really has helped me prepare for being a nurse and being able to tell a doctor, my patient is experiencing this and they need help with this. I've learned to be able to look at someone who holds more authority than me and telling them, no, they need this. This is going to be the most helpful option. Another thing, a huge part when I was growing up was the 7 habits of successful people. And one of the habits was at first seek to understand, then to be understood. And that has been another foundation of mine. I have used it my entire life, and I think it's just as important as it is with your personal relationships than with your being a nurse and your relationships with your patients. It's all about them. It's not about me at all. And so I'm able to show humility and show that I want to understand you. I want to hear you. If you just want to complain about your day, I will make time for you. And that's just a big part of just who I am as a person. So I'm driving on I-35. I hit morning traffic. Big test, check engine light goes on, your flyer's tat. All right, struggle bus city over here. My first reaction would be to email my professor. I'll let them know what is happening, what my game plan is on how to get there. And then next would be call AAA, hope to get my car towed, call any one of my support systems around me, asking my roommates or my friends, hey, this is happening to me. Could you get here, watch my car while I either Uber, or could you drive me to school and someone else wait here with my car for it to get towed? That would probably be my first course of action. And then attending nursing school is a full-time commitment. I've always been a lover of a to-do list. So I've learned while being in university that I love to read all of my syllabi and put them out on an Excel spreadsheet. And I put out the dates, the comments on the difficulty of how I feel the assignment is and how long I feel it would take me. And then I would transfer that over to a to-do list. And that has been just really helpful for me in organizing myself. And a large part about going through a rigorous program is also making sure that you are mentally grounded. And a big thing that I do for grounding is I love to listen to music. So after a really stressful day, I set aside some time for myself, 15, 20 minutes, and I just put on my headphones and I listen to music. And it has helped me so much with, relieving stress. Also, a big thing to help me with test anxiety is I love listening to rock music. I grew up playing sports, and so before a big game, I would put on rock music and I would jam out. And before a big test, I put on rock music and I walk across campus and I'm like, get myself pumped, and that has helped me so much with test anxiety. That has been so helpful. And another thing is letting know my support systems about my priorities. With my personal life, I need to tell everyone who I love that right now my priority is getting my BSN and passing the NCLEX. And that's a big open conversation about the amount of time I would have for them and how I would go about doing that. And I think all of those things are really important in being successful, especially within the nursing program. Okay, well, I answered all those questions. Thank you so much.